Hey y'all, this is Dr. Traci Harrell. How are you? Oh my goodness. Today is a really special day. It's my birthday. It's my birthday. I got balloons. Someone delivered me roses. I don't know if you could see that. Oh, isn't that beautiful? It's nice when people love you, but it's really, really nice when you can love yourself, right? So on my birthday today, I have a couple videos we're going to be sharing, and I have a conflict with some of the times. So I want to make sure I provide just a recap of why it's so important that we do this show, that we actually do this work. It's important for about 50 reasons. I'm going to give you 5. Number 1, we all really need to feel like we were put on this earth for a reason. Believe it. I know my reason. Part of my reason is to help others to live powerfully, to live their best life. Without a doubt, that is part of the reason that I am on this earth. I'm texting my producer. So I know why I was put on this earth. And honestly, there is nothing more fulfilling than knowing that you are showing up in excellence, doing exactly what you were meant to do in life. I'm also trying to figure out how to unblur my background to see if that's good or bad. I don't know if that's good or bad. Let's see what happens if I unblur it. Okay, that's not bad. That's not bad. You could see the birthday. You could see the roses a little better. Yay. So there'll be no blurring today, Daniel. Maybe I can face the light during the break or something. I don't know. I got some technical issues right now. So Daniel, see if you can go into my YouTube account and look at the last video that I produced live. We've been traveling for about 2 weeks in DC. I know it's been amazing. Uh-oh. Technical difficulties. I'm back. Hey, y'all, I'm back. Yay. Okay, I'm back. Okay. So we are celebrating my birthday today. It's my birthday. Yay. And part of what I was talking about before my computer uh, interrupted us with a pause is that we get to show up in purpose. That's really what I love, I think, most about this experience here on Rainier Avenue Radio. Most people who know me know that I show up in community with the highest integrity. I'm going to show up for my people, right? I'm going to fight for what I believe is right, right? No matter who that is or what it's about, I'm actually going to always fight like the Dickens to change things. And there's just something so peaceful that comes when you're showing up in purpose, following, aligned with why you are on this earth, aligned with why you were given gifts, certain gifts. And for me, I actually have special skills. I'm probably the most positive person I know normally. So given any situation, I can typically find a gift and an opportunity in it. Almost always. I naturally default to the positive or finding something good that can come out of a situation, right? But then I also have done the work, right? Like I have about 6 different certifications that allow me to talk about a number of different tools that can be used by anyone to truly live powerfully. And so when I think about this concept of the living powerfully experience and getting better together, what I'm excited about is the ability to do this for you, to do this with you, and to do this. It's the by and for combination, right? Yes. But it's also refreshing. It's fulfilling for myself. So I am doing this work for others, but I show up truly fulfilled in a way that I didn't think was possible. It's a little thing, right? And we're building we're building an app called the Living Powerfully Experience app, which we've put out into the universe. It's going to be another free tool and a free resource, which I'm excited to broadcast. You can go to it. Looks like there's a couple of. Okay, so we'll put some detail in the chat here for you to be able to access this Living Powerfully Experience app, but not only access it, but we want you to be a part of it. I know. So I'm going to provide a little bit of a forecast for what's coming over the next few months with the Better Together and Living Powerfully Experience. Part of the work I did, and I think you guys remember, we came here and we were talking about WEAR, Washington Employers for Racial Equity. And I said, we got to show up, right, in community, helping organizations, major corporations who committed $2 billion, billion with a B. Yeah, if you know sign language, A, B, C, D, B, $1 billion. They committed $2 billion to be invested in the Black community, increasing equity, supporting supplier diversity, supporting our youth, supporting a number of 6 different pillars around what they felt would be something feasible and doable for the corporate space, corporate community. And where we are now is we're 3 years into that 5-year commitment, and we are showing up, really bringing communities together to say, we love the idea of what you're doing, and we want to continue to be a part of the solution. We want to help you to make sure that whatever these resources are, that they're showing up, and we get to be a part of creating the outcome that you want. So today, again, on my special day, on my birthday, I'm 55 today, people. I know, isn't that exciting? 55. And so I spent, oh my God, 30 years in the corporate space, 8 years at IBM, working both domestic and international, 14 years at the Disney company, 5 years at Microsoft, and now I'm an entrepreneur. And I spent years being a nonprofit leader. I started a ministry called It's All Bigger Than Me Ministry. I started a consulting company called It's All Bigger Than Me Consulting. I got a little confused about what was happening for which one, because I felt like everything I was doing needed to be free in community. I felt like that was the most divine way for me to show up. Then I realized that's not true. It's actually not true at all. I do not need to do everything for free. That is, I got set free from that. And that's a beautiful thing. So it looks like we have a little bit of technology challenges that are continuing. I guess he's got it. That's a good thing having a producer, I guess. Anyway. It's all good. So we're not live on some spaces, but it is all good. Daniel, I trust you that we're where we're supposed to be right now, and that's all good. Okay. So it is 6:15, and I need to provide 2 quick updates. This is the invitation for you all. I'm going to put my actual email in the chat, in comments. Maybe I'll put it in the private chat and let my producer put it into the comments. It's Traci at itsallbiggerthanme.com. So if you're interested in bringing your voice forward for the Living Powerfully Experience app, this is your invitation right now today. It's all bigger than me. It's really not about me, right? It's so much better when we do this together. So remember, the Living Powerfully Experience is about us showing up, identifying what does living powerfully mean to you? That would be question number 1 we're going to ask you to answer. And then we're talking about getting better together, getting healthier, getting happier, getting wealthier, and getting wiser. And so getting healthier, that's something else that I'm going to show up differently. I'm still trying to figure, we kind of figured out how to use this show. It's only once a week, but it's still once a week, which is a level of intensity and follow up for each of you to say, hey, I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to show up and tell my story. So that's the thing that we're going to do a little bit differently. I was trying to put out into community, we've shared presentations, we've shared, conversations, we've brought in other people. What we know to be true is on this Living Powerfully app, we're going to have a bunch of videos, a bunch of people telling their story, and we want you to be one of them. Yes, it will be very tailored to people being positive. I can't testify to what people are saying outside of the space where I'm taking clips of what they've done to get healthier, what they've done to get happier, what they've done to get wealthier and wiser. We're going to hear from people about their lessons learned, and we're going to bring that forward to you and then create a space for us to check in literally on a daily basis. I know once a week is how we show up here on Rainier Avenue Radio, but to really, truly change, we've talked about this before, right? This concept of, creating a new you, this concept of using neuroscience and positive psychology and cognitive behavioral psychology and performance science, this concept of actually leveraging information that will change your life. It really isn't once a week I'm going to think about this. It has to be not only daily, but daily, but throughout the day. We talked about this concept of identifying your saboteurs. Like, it all comes together now. All the things we've shared has just been kind of backgrounds, right? I love this. This is so beautiful. This is a real rose, by the way. Someone just brought it to my door like 2 minutes before before I was going live. I thought, oh, how sweet. I'll just bring it in. This is a stop and smell the roses show. Literally. This is I did have another plan for today, but then I thought, you know what? It's okay to just kind of riff a little bit, to just talk it out. There's so much light in this space. Someone told me not to share something, but I'm going to share it anyway. I think you almost have to tell a story so that people are like, oh, this is so good. I'll pause, I'll wait, I'll put it in the book. But anyway, what I will share today is that when we say that the living powerfully experience, I mentioned that I'm certified. I have a number of certifications. And I like to say living powerfully experience with positive intelligence. That's the most recent of the communities that I went through this mastering positive intelligence process with 6 months, right? Really mastering what it means to live powerfully and what it means. And the reason I'm kind of going backwards, I'm also a certified success coach with Success Magazine, the oldest professional development communication in the country. That is what it is. I mean, there's some history behind Success Magazine. Most of us have heard of Success Magazine. I'm also certified with David Bayer, and this dude does work. He calls it it's a facilitator training. Yes. So facilitator is helping others to facilitate their transformation. So I never say I'm doing it for you. A great coach helps you to live your best life. So I am a certified coach. I'm a certified transformational coach. I'm a certified transformational facilitator. I'm certified with, right? Like I have all the things. And we talked a little bit about, thank you for that. We talked a little bit about, the saboteurs that show up in each of our lives. And it was one of the positive intelligence tools that I really like. It's just so simple. Within a 5-minute assessment, you can pull out some things that are just like these ahas that allow you to pause and choose differently in the moment. I'm just going to say that again. It allows you to pause and choose differently in the moment. And it's in the moment that matters. I know a lot of people are like, well, I don't choose to operate that way. I don't want to change in the moment. I want to still be the wrecking ball that I am in the moment and then come back later on and apologize. It's like the true transformation happens when you're able to breathe and pause and not get triggered and not go all the way with judgments, right? The judge is another thing, right? The judge shows up and we judge other people and we judge ourselves. And I think oftentimes the thing I love most about the saboteurs, it's really rarely about other people. It's like we can change the outcome. We can change our situation. We can change our lives and honestly, the lives of others just based on how we show up in community. I know. Meaning you see your saboteurs. I think we put this in the chat before, right? Daniel, I'm assuming you've added my email. And if you could add this as well. It's positive. Actually, I'll give you my app. Actually, I'll give you positiveintelligence.com. Keep it simple. And when you go to positiveintelligence.com, there's a book called Positive Intelligence, and there's a saboteur assessment. It says, discover your saboteurs. That's the first step. If you haven't done it yet, that's the first step. And it's not a secret, but it is pretty amazing to be able to see, here's some things and ways where I've sabotaged my own success and the success of others. So and they have names, right? It's the controller, the hyperachiever, the pleaser, the avoider, right? It's all those things. There's more, but it's like that. So we get to show up and we get to identify, who am I? Why do I sometimes get triggered? Why do I sometimes not have the outcomes that I want in life? It's because of these saboteurs. So when I say my life has changed at the age of 55, and I'm like continuing to grow every day in every way, it's such a joy. I mean, I just feel like I found the cure to cancer or the cure to polio, and I want to share it with everyone, which is why I show up here. And I'm like, hey, here's a couple of ways that here's some things that you can do. And when you do it in a program and you do it over time, it's obviously more powerful. It's a lot more intense. When we show up week after week after week and we're doing this work, the fact that there's 2 weeks with some groups that I'm working with, it's not as intense as doing it every week, right? So we gotta figure that out as well. So anyway, for each of you, I think we have about 3 minutes before I need to go to my first break. So all I want to do is just remind people, if you've watched my show before, this should not be new. The fact that I'm stopping to smell the roses on my birthday, it shouldn't surprise you. This is kind of how I show up, right? Right. I do allow myself to pivot on occasion. So today, I threw the plan book out of the window. I am going to come back after the break with the video. Again, I don't want you to miss out on some of the things that are happening as a part of this community. So when we come back from break, there will be a beautiful video that we'll be sharing. Again, I was in 2 conferences. The first one was the Congressional Black Caucus Conference. And the second one was the National Black MBA Association, our national conference. Both were in DC, and they were both powerful in a number of different ways. So it's super exciting. It looks like I need to share a quick announcement before we go to break. So there is going to be a debate happening, apparently. Thank you. A simulcast debate happening for Superintendent of Public Instruction. It says, get informed for this year's election with Rainier Avenue Radio's simulcast of the Washington State OSPI, again, Office of Superintendent of Public Instruction, debate this Thursday, beginning with a Rainier Avenue exclusive pre-debate show at 6 p.m. Yikes, exciting. It says Rainier Avenue Radio will begin broadcasting high school football games again with doubleheaders on Friday nights, starting this Friday with Rainier Beach at Garfield at 5 p.m. and then Ballard at Roosevelt at 7:45. There you go. Local news and live right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. So you heard it first here, guys. More to come. Stay with us. When we come back again, there'll be a video, and I will be wishing you all farewell. Stay with us. Good stuff coming. Thanks.
Rainier Avenue Radio.
You probably have questions about COVID vaccines. Here are some answers about how they're being made.
How are COVID vaccines being produced faster?
Usually, vaccine testing and production are separate steps. But because of the pandemic, vaccines are being developed on parallel tracks. So both steps are happening just at the same time.
How are the vaccines being tested?
Right now, several different COVID vaccines are in testing. Each go through multiple clinical trials with up to thousands of volunteers.
How do vaccines get approved?
Not all COVID vaccine versions will make it to the final stages of testing and approval. Produced vaccines that do not pass clinical trials will be destroyed. But for those that do pass, a team of medical experts will examine test results and possible side effects. If the vaccine is effective and safe, it gets approved and gets to you. Go to covidvaccinewa.org to learn more. A message from the state of Washington.
Hey, this is Paul Pearson. I've hosted the R&B show Star Time since the very beginning of Rainier Avenue Radio, and after years of featuring tracks from the 50s through the 80s, Star Time now plays R&B and hip-hop from the 1990s as well. A whole half-century of soul, funk, hip-hop, and more on Star Time, Wednesdays at 2 p.m. on Rainier Avenue Radio.
Hey, Seattle. Tune in to Lidline Sports every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
What up, yo? We are back. This is Pep, and the man that don't take no mess, Mr. O-P-I-S, Mr. Stevenson. What say you?
I hope you see the hat that I'm wearing right now. That's how mad I am.
I do. Man, you are angry.
I just want to make that be known.
Tune in to Lidline Sports every Monday, 7 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Deadline Sports.
Seattle Opera presents the world premiere of Jubilee. Jubilee follows the historic Fisk Jubilee Singers' initial tours following the Civil War. While raising funds for the fledgling Fisk University, the group shared their music around the world, showcasing more than 40 African-American spirituals such as Swing Low, Sweet Chariot, Deep River, and Wade in the Water. Jubilee is not to be missed. October 12th through 26th at McCaw Hall. Details at seattleopera.org.
This is Paul Pearson, host of Star Time. And when I'm not meeting Mrs. Jones in that cafe for a chat and nothing else, I'm listening to Rainier Avenue Radio.world.
Hey, y'all. This is Dr. Traci Harrell, and we are here on my birthday. I guess I should go this way. Yay, it's my birthday. Someone brought me these beautiful roses. Isn't that lovely? Out of their garden. That made it even sweeter. I know. So I'm just going to put them here because this is the Stop and Smell the Roses show. Yes, it is. I'm sorry. I got to angle this. This is not my house. Just saying they had something on the wall. I had to angle that out. It's not my house. I'm house sitting. So that's actually one of the things I wanted to share before we go to this video. So, okay, he has the video queued. So before I go, I did want to share, and someone told me not to share this, but what I really do need to share is I am house sitting right now. And at first I did it just because I was transitioning. The house I was living in was sold, and a friend of mine has been doing it for 2 years. A married couple. Okay, hold please. And I thought that was awesome. And so, you know, they've been doing it, and I tried it, and I was like, oh my God, this is so cool. Like, I'm living in these places with gardens even more beautiful than my own, like gourmet kitchens, all these wonderful things. I get to provide a service and save money. So it's pretty exciting. And I did it. I was doing it short term, and then I'm like, oh my God, I love it. Like, I've never been more intentional. So I decided then that this place that became available for me to move into. And I thought, I love doing what I'm doing. I'm so unconventional. Like, it's not for everyone, but for me, it's perfect timing. It's like every situation can be turned into a gift and an opportunity. So I think I told you, I've just been traveling to DC and doing these speaking engagements. And I just booked my first trip to the motherland, to Africa. I know. It's incredible. So I'll be in Africa for a month, for 30 full days. I'll be in Africa. So what you're going to hear from me is I'm going to come back on this show and I'm going to do my DNA. I don't know how many of you guys have ever done that before, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it live. I'm going to share it live. If you've ever thought about doing it, I think I'm going to choose them all. I don't know how much they cost, but I'm going to add that as one of my to-dos for my birthday. So I'm going to make a choice. I'm going to identify, like, probably using the mainstream one, but I think there's like this African one as well, right? The one that's by some black, I don't know. I'll figure it out. Anyway, I'm going to do all of that. So that's coming. So more to come. I'm also, like I said, we're finishing my next book, which is called The Living Powerfully Experience and Better Together. We're working on the title, but it's these two themes, right? We're bringing in voices of people who are living powerfully, who are absolutely amazing. We're going to be packaging the work that I do in a way that says, hey, here it's out there and it's for free in community. And we're actually going to be putting it into this Living Powerfully app. And that's what we're asking each of you to lean in if you'd like. So there's going to be a video I'm going to share. It's going to seem a little random, but because I don't have expertise in this area, I thought it was really important to share. So when I say getting better together, it's getting healthier, getting happier, getting wealthier, and getting wiser. I'm on my getting wealthier journey. I think starting with reducing my expenses is number one, and then charging what I'm worth, which is what I'm doing now as well in most cases. which is part of that. But there's people who have been doing this work in such a way that they are like millionaires and the millionaire entrepreneurs. And so since that's one of the areas that I like to focus on, I'm gonna have you guys watch this video. I'm gonna mute. I think I can mute. And let me know when you have the video ready. This was at the National Black MBA Conference, and the theme was really focused on three entrepreneurs and a prior president who had actually done this work. They're telling you their stories, what they've done, and I kind of cued it somewhere in the middle so you can get to the real meat of the matter. And then he's just going to cue this to the end of the show. But listen in if you can. This is, again, we're leaving real messages around getting healthier, happier, getting wealthier, and getting wiser. This is getting wealthier, getting wiser, getting healthier, and getting happier, because what these people said is once they tapped into their entrepreneurial spirit, oh my God, it changed everything. It gave them a space where they could be free, right? So just listen in and tell me what you think. I think you're going to love it. Go ahead, Daniel.
Where I've been selling out for 9 years, and then Oprah found me, and then I won Shark Tank. So I just want to say that part of the journey is figuring it out, and that's critical. As an entrepreneur, you are constantly problem solving and putting fires out. So you shouldn't feel as if, you don't have all the answers, because you never ever will. It doesn't work like that. So I just hope that's encouraging to know that. I mean, I did not come from retail. I did not come from product development. Every product that I create, I start from scratch, and I do not know how to do it, but I figure it out, because all the products are inspired by my life. So if there's a problem that's not on the market, then I make it.
Would you say that you have by me?
I do.
Drive to solve.
Yeah. And the one thing I really have to say is that when you become an entrepreneur, what you will find is that any job that you've ever had in your life, and you want, I don't care if it's, it's fast food, it does not matter. Every bit of experience that you've ever had in your life, you will utilize when you become an entrepreneur. Everything from construction. I mean, I started a warehouse. I own my own warehouse. I can tell you what it costs to ship any product. Never did I think that, I would need that information. So do know that nothing that you're doing, you're wasting your time. You're not. You will utilize all of it. Second.
Yeah, so my journey was I finished my MBA from Pepperdine, and I moved into consulting. My background was in technology, so I had a MBA in computer science, and I got a job at Deloitte implementing a manufacturing software product called SAP back in the 90s. Now all major manufacturing companies across the country, multinational, either SAP, Oracle, Microsoft. So I got in at a time when nobody at the firm really wanted to do it. So they hired 3 minorities. They hired a black guy, an Asian guy, and an Indian guy, because no one in the firm wanted to touch this such thing as technology back in '93. And then it just exploded. Companies started buying it left and right. There's not enough resources there. So I was at Deloitte, and then moved over to Ernst & Young as manager, then ran into a couple of German fellows who were experts at the previous product, legacy system, and came up with a business plan because I had an MBA, because I knew something about consulting. I wrote a business plan to take their business to a whole other level. And flew to Germany over a weekend. I got a Thursday, came back on a Monday, and pitched the German partners, and then accepted me as a partner. Started growing that business, and I had 3 partners in the United States, 6 in Germany. Business was growing primarily from the efforts of myself and one of the other partners. But then the partnership kind of started falling apart, and the agreements were intact. So I never really signed my agreement. I realized there's some things in my agreement that I did not agree with. So as a result, and I didn't sign an agreement, they tried to take the partnership away. So it's kind of interesting because a lot of people in their lives have these kind of moments in their lives that kind of spring off a new opportunity. Bloomberg is one who actually had that. He got laid off, and now he's worth $80 billion. Right? So it created a whole bunch of systems that Wall Street depended upon. So that was a misfortune, but because I didn't sign it, I didn't have time to eat. So I was able to start my business all over again. So I took all my commissions, my salaries, and started just myself and a secretary. Just started, leveraging my experience as a consultant, my experience running their business, one consultant at a time, and it just kept growing, growing, growing. It was interesting because a lot of times I didn't have so much of a very well documented plan. I just had anger, frustration, and that was the thing that fueled me to basically get going and create the business. And it was slow initially. I just built it one client at a time, but then I kind of, kept ebbing and flowing, going back to my own Deloitte relationships, Ernst & Young relationships. I knew they needed people. And the business kind of started taking off. My point about that is that, it's always great to have a good business plan. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's about the jockey, right? It's about, not giving up and not willing to lose, right? So, figuring it out. Yeah, but a lot of my buddies, entrepreneurs have this interesting thing that we go through because sometimes when you're dealing with challenging moments as an entrepreneur, you find yourself at 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning staring at the ceiling, laying in bed, trying to solve, problems that you have within your business. But the interesting thing about it, in those quiet moments, those are powerful moments because you come up with some of the most amazing solutions to problems that you cannot see sometimes in the day because you're busy dealing with the day to day.
That's
So,
every night. I know. I want to revisit something that you said.
So, but as the thing about it is when I started my business, my mindset was because I talked to myself often about my business to an entrepreneur. I didn't know that. I knew that I had a window of time to get my business to a certain point, and then the competition would come. So my goal was, I had documented this down. I wanted to build up a certain amount of cash, become debt free, and I was going to go into franchising. That was the name of the game. And so the business kept growing, and it kept working. And at the same time, because I didn't know what the future held, because I'm competing against the largest firms in the world, I didn't know what the future would hold for my business. So I kept investing in real estate on the side. So as I made profit in my business, I'd buy an apartment building, I bought another apartment building, I bought another apartment building, I bought an office building. I continued to do that because I felt at one time that my business was going to not be able to carry me through the journey, and my real estate income would support my lifestyle until retirement. So I kept doing that, and both of those investments continued to grow. So my point is that sometimes we have this vision in our mind that we're going to create this business and we're going to be the next Elon Musk, we're going to be the next Jeff Bezos. Sometimes it doesn't have to happen in order to be successful. There are different levels and there are different models of success. But you always, as you're building your business, you always have to kind of understand. It's almost like what I call often playing musical chairs. You can play musical chairs and wait for the music to stop and see if you have a chair or not. Or you can play the game by walking around with the chair. So I kept building my chair round after round after round. And so if the music stopped, I didn't have to worry about is there a chair available.
Got it. I want to revisit. You didn't have partnership. And because you didn't
I had it, but I didn't sign it.
Because it was unsigned, you also didn't have an enforcement. So you turned what could have been a crisis into a thing. Can you share that with us?
Yeah, it was interesting. I often talk, like I said, in my book about my one of them, Chuck Davis, basically, we met on a golf course, fellow Alpha brothers. But anyway, we met on a golf course, and Chuck always told me, he says, man, whenever you do some business, make sure you sign up. Make sure you have a good recruiter. So I was like, at the time, I'm working at Deloitte, making $1 few dollars, but to pay $5,000 for an attorney to review a contract that may or may not protect me doesn't make sense. So I did have an attorney sign it. I did listen to it. I took the $5,000 out. When you're starting a business, all your resources are needed. So I did that, and as you would have it, they were offering me inferior shares. And I was the one that was really driving the business and putting all the energy in the business. So we figured that out, and like I said, I'll never forget coming home because I was living in Pasadena, California, but also flying back up north and the East Coast. And so I remember getting home, this office guy, I get this letter saying they're pulling me completely, they're taking it away, they're trying to make me an employee. I said, they're not doing that anymore. So at the time, Barry, I had twin boys, one of them sitting over there. I had a third one in the wing, which is the one sitting there with the camera. And so, I had to basically go start with all this pressure. And so the power of that was that, the pressure, put me in a situation where I could fail. And so, when you run into that kind of pressure, people either crumble or they step up to the plate. So I think it was a perfect situation because there was no way in the world I was going to let them fail. Now they're still my friends, but my business has grown significantly. In the end, they end up working for some of my assignments. So, but the contract is so important. It's like, a lot of times you want to take that for granted, but you got to know what you signed up for. I signed that agreement. There's no doubt in my mind. They would suit me and held me to a non-compete, which would have helped me 2 years starting my business, which probably would be ended at this time.
That's what I wanted.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're confident. No, this is great.
So let me ask a question. Raise your hand if you're an entrepreneur. All right. Keep your hand up if your entrepreneurial venture is somewhat of a side gig and you work in corporate. Okay. So many of you. That's who I was for 27. So for 27 years, I had a philosophy that if 1 out of 10 businesses make it, I need to get 9 out of the way. So that 110, I can go. Be done with the corporate world. But how that really manifested for me is I decided I'm going to do this, this, and this. I'm a serial entrepreneur. You guys are. But the goal for me was something that replaced my income. But what ended up happening for me though was in 2018, I made 3 times what I made in my corporate job. But I continued my consultancy, even though I was 3x ahead of the game, because strategically it benefited me because of the exposure that I got. So I would say that as a lesson, my strategy became, let me continue to build a relationship with the corporate entity that I'm in and still do the things that I do in my business. And without creating any kind of conflict, there are opportunities that I can get into rooms that will then later benefit me in some of the business endeavors that I have. So I'm a strategy guy, plain and simple. I help entrepreneurs develop strategies around big money. And that's what we do with Elegant Success Group. And it came from me watching and seeing what happened in the corporate world, me and others, and how we benefited from those exposures and then went out and created our own. So I just want you to understand this from my own story, that have a benefit if you're in the corporate world with your entrepreneurial venture on the side, but don't make that what you do forever. I did it for 27 years, but I probably could have stopped at 15. I kept it because of this. You need to make a decision as to what your exit strategy is from the corporate arena if you desire to be a full-time entrepreneur. And even more important, you need to have a good exit strategy on entrepreneurial, whether that is to scale up, sell, whether that is to scale up and leave to a family member, whatever it is, but have an exit strategy in mind, because if not, if you burn out, build, and not know really where you're going. Probably the most beneficial component for me that helped me decide when it was time to transition on the external was we bought a business, built it, scaled it up, and then sold it for 5x. Multi-million-dollar business, got it, scaled it up, and sold it for 5x. So that said to me, yes, this can't work. But then on the other side, part of the reason that I left the corporate arena is I decided, you know what, being the CEO of something else that somebody else started, that a board really made decisions to make, really not how I want to have autonomy to be the ultimate decision maker and help others get to that same path. So that's my story.
I just want to add, so I totally forgot my story. I forgot that. So I worked 4 years doing consulting. Meanwhile, I was building my business. And my reason was because I could
that to me, I think it's one of the best ways to do it because also as an entrepreneur, you're learning the business. So I wasn't even sure if it was a business, right? Am I going to, leave my consulting work? So I three different companies. That's what afforded me the time to learn my business, if it was viable. So I'm a big believer in that. And then and you really learn, learn more about the business, right? Give you time to pivot, so I think it's a smart move. And you learn a lot, and it really benefits.
Absolutely. In fact, I say just one thing, my company paid for my MBA, but also the experience and exposure that I got was additional level of education that is priceless. So if you're in both worlds, figure out how you want to position both so that you can benefit.
You have mentioned how important is having a plan, business, financial, personal, to venturing 100% entrepreneur. And
Can you guys hear me? You probably can hear me a little bit better than you can hear the video. So I'm going to have to move that video forward to about 29 minutes. Just because I asked a question of them, I specifically asked them, what does living powerfully mean to them? And what you heard, and the reason I wanted you to hear it in their voices, and we probably should have turned the volume up or something because the volume wasn't great or the sound wasn't great there. But what I loved about their stories, and we will include some of these stories in the book, is they talk about things that happen that sound horrible. Like one guy said he started a partnership. He started this business. Oops, sorry. Again, this is my house. There's a thing on the wall that is a part of my background. Sorry. I'm sorry. Anyway, but they were telling a story about things that happened in their lives. One with his business, he started a partnership. Again, I'm still smelling the roses here. But he was like someone, they took his business. They took away his partnership with something that he started. And it could have been the worst thing that ever happened to him. But instead, he said every situation can be turned into a gift and an opportunity. I mean, that's part of this living powerfully experience. Part of that is saying no matter what is happening, you get to decide what success looks like. You know what I mean? Like that's beautiful. Let me see if you can hear me. So, to get to a place where you actually believe that, and in the moment you're able to show up differently, it changes everything. So it means no matter who comes into your space, no matter what kind of energy they bring, you get to still show up positively. You still get to create the best outcomes. Literally, you get to design them and create them. So it is powerful. Let's see what happens if you move this video forward real quick. I think I asked my question. I asked them all about living powerfully. I think I saw you move it forward. So feel free to go ahead and play.
If their best isn't, up to par, then and then you get to, then it's no one's committed. So, but it's relative to the industry. And for me, I have very few hires. I hire contractors because I know it's, that's how they live. So they're a little bit more hungry. And I've been able to build and hire contractors and keep them there.
this has been amazing. So thank you. So my name is Dr. Traci Harrell. I am the past president for the Seattle chapter of Black Day. I spent 25 years in the corporate space, but I'm 100% entrepreneur now. And so my question to you, really, first of all, thank you. As you think about advice that you've received and our favorite books that you've read, would you share a little bit about this concept of living powerful? My journey to entrepreneurship was fine. God was like, I put some gifts in you, you need to go make a way. So can you just talk a little bit about what living powerfully means to you and what advice you've received or what you've read that feel you can benefit from?
I think living powerfully means living free. It's like, I have a section in my book where I title What's Your Whys of Wealth, right? I talk about the 7 whys of wealth. And people have a combination of whys, right? And so when I assess why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, why I wanted to be an entrepreneur, it's really the freedom, right? But with that freedom comes the responsibility. I've got to take care of certain things in order to maintain that freedom. But the ultimate freedom is either when I sell the business or I decide that I'm just going to live off my real estate. So having that in mind is that as you're operating a business, you have to have very clear goals as to what am I doing this for? I'm not going to be an entrepreneur when I'm 75, 80, 90 years old, right? There's going to be a time when I can live my life. But why am I doing this? And once I understand my why for doing this, now I can develop a plan that supports my why so that I can have that ultimate that you're talking about.
For me, to add on to that, I do believe that entrepreneurship is free. But as a female entrepreneur and a mom, I think for women, entrepreneurship is ultimately, and that is actually how and why I started my company, because I wanted to raise my kids the way that I wanted to and to be present. But yet I still have to make it. So I teach this. I started a program with girls, young Black and brown girls, and ultimately, it's your choice. And to be honest, one of the other main reasons that I is because and there's a people tell. So, being your own boss, it comes with it, comes with a lot. It's not easy, but it pales in comparison to being a corporation. Or being smarter, just being in a culture that is toxic. So, there's always a trade-off. But that's why.
Okay, y'all. Again, hopefully what you could hear from that was they were talking about what living powerfully actually means to them, right? The sound was not great, apparently. We were trying to get him to turn the sound up, but apparently he's saying, if it's bad sound, it's just loud, bad sound. Sorry. Anyway, we'll try to get that cleaned up and make sure transcripts are available as a part of the book. That's kind of part of this journey. But what they were talking about is this living powerfully experience, right? When things go bad, when things look bad, you still get to decide how you're going to show up. And so our time is up. But again, you all get to decide how are you going to show up for the next day, the next minute, the next year of your life. So we hope that you're living powerfully and just know that it's so much better when you do whatever you're trying to do together. So I look forward to seeing you all next week right here on Rainier Avenue Radio. And next is Lidline Sports. Thanks. See you soon.